All right, good morning and good afternoon. Intro to art. I apologize for not being in here. This is actually pretty sudden, and this was not necessarily something that I had originally planned for, but needless to say, I cannot be in, and I want to make sure that you guys don't lose any bit of time, any days with me being out of the classroom when it comes to learning how to create one-point perspective drawings using different shapes and forms and lines and all that other fun jazz that we've been talking about for the last couple of days. Now, obviously, the problem that this presents is I don't have the ability to be in class leading you through step by step every little thing. Some of you guys might be very thankful for that because it can get pretty tedious and kind of boring. Matter of fact, what I'm going to be leaving for you guys in replacement of me physically being there is this online document that I had been using for a few years, but after receiving some student feedback that kind of mentioned that it was a little slow paced and kind of boring and they'd rather see me do it, I switched off from just handing this over to people to doing it live as a demonstration in class. Now, as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of printing off worksheets and dittos, and it just creates a long, unnecessary collection of stuff that you end up either losing or throwing away. So everything that I'm going to require for you guys to do, along with the notes that you've been taking over the past couple of days, is going to go straight into your sketchbook. So please, you don't need any additional documentation. You don't need a worksheet for this. Everything that you're going to be doing is going to go inside of your guys' sketchbook for you guys to practice. Now, the file that you see on the screen that I'm going to be referring to is actually a pretty long file. Matter of fact, I'm not 100% sure if you guys can see this, but there's 48 slides or pages to this document. Now, I would never ever drop this on you guys and say, okay, you're responsible for going through 48 pages to figure out how this all works. That's not the point to me making this video, and this is not the point to what you guys are doing in class. Actually, what I'm going to have you guys refer to is the notes that you were taking over the past couple of days where we left off in class, either first hour, the image that looked like this, or if you guys were in, excuse me, fifth hour, the image that we already started completing looking like this. Now, in this little documentation, in this online document that you guys are seeing right here, you'll notice a lot of the pages are just kind of repeats. It's a lot of information that we went through. It's a lot of information that you already know. Matter of fact, itself in general serves as basically the guidance of the drawing rules that I had you guys so tediously copy down and put inside of your sketchbook. So there's not a big deal for you guys to skip through some things, but what you guys do need to be aware of is where you're going to skip through and where you're going to start. Now, like I said, this is a fairly long document. So before you guys move any further, make sure that you have the opportunity to go directly to I wrote it right here, page 12. Page 12 on this document will start you off with exactly where I want you to be, where we left off in yesterday's class. And as you page through it, and I'm just going to go through this really quickly, it basically explains all the different steps that you need to take, the directions of the lines, and important little things to look out for and think about. It just kind of is in reference to, the rules that you guys were taking in yesterday's class. Now, as you make your way through this document, you'll notice that I try to keep with the same theme. I keep the lines very bold, but I make certain lines different colors, and some of them are dotted so that you guys can see exactly what it is I'm talking about. If there's something really important that I know lots of people have made mistakes on, well, I make that a point to put that note on the page. So make sure that you're keeping that in mind as you follow through everything. Now, once you move through this document and you end up on page 36, you'll notice, whoops, sorry, I went one page too far. On page 35, you'll notice that you end up having three boxes or three cubes that are on your drawing in your sketchbook and your notes, but the three drawings or the three cubes that you see on the screen right now are going to look a lot different than the three cubes or the three squares that you started off with either first hour or those of you guys that are in 5th hour. Now, sorry, there we go. It's not too big of a deal here, but this does make some sort of point and some sort of reference to what it is I'm going to have you guys specifically do. My goal was to walk you through the steps of doing this all on one side by yourself, so that upon returning the next day you could do something a little bit more elaborate, such as these 8 boxes. And that's where I want you guys to focus your energies and efforts for today's class. As you notice here, or as you should soon notice, I have a very simple perspective drawing here with a horizon line that runs directly in the middle of my piece of paper with a vanishing point dead set center right in the middle. I have about, 8 boxes bordering the left side and the right, and then 1 box on the top and 1 box on the bottom directly in the middle column of this sheet of paper. While the pages in this document walk you through the steps of doing maybe 1 on the bottom and 2 on the top or 2 on the other sides, they are the exact same steps that we would take when doing all of them on one side. My goal and my assignment for you guys is to recreate this image. Oh, I'm sorry, there we go. Recreate this image, the 8 boxes, using the steps and creating a 1-point perspective document or 1-point perspective drawing that are covered on this online PDF file or slideshow or whatever you want to call it. So I'm asking you guys to kind of juggle a couple things here. I'm asking you guys to be able to page through this document and follow the very simple 1-sentence instructions, and then duplicate that over and over again so that you have a set of boxes that kind of go around the perimeter of your paper. 3 boxes that are going to be above the horizon line, 3 boxes that are going to be below. Oh, sorry. 3 boxes that are on the left side, 3 boxes that are on the right side, and then of course 1 box directly above and 1 box directly below. Now the reason why I have you guys doing this is because I ultimately want to answer or ask you guys the biggest question. What happens when you have something that is directly on top of the vanishing point? Now I don't expect you guys to be able to answer that right now, just this second. But upon me coming back to class tomorrow, hopefully, we're going to talk about what it looks like when you have an object that overlaps the vanishing point and what type of steps you need to take as you move through these drawing rules in creating a 1-point perspective drawing. I'm going to sign off now because I think this video has sort of reached its limit. I'm going to give you guys some time to work inside of your notes using the straight edges and referring to this document that's directly below this video here at my website. So if you've gotten this far through the video, then you know exactly where you need to be, and when I return to class, we'll continue along the lines of what you guys are working on today in class. Good luck, guys.